Hi, babies. Hello, my cyber babies. And this is what we need. We need some love in the world, and it just seems like it's dissipating before our very eyes, and we must not ever, ever, ever let that happen. Welcome to the program. You're listening to the even more fabulous Dr. Mother Love, along with my cohort, and this guy, he is funny as all get out, Mr. Cool TLC. And the TLC is not what you think it is. TLC, tell them what the TLC stands for.
The last comic, Tonlo's cousin, Too Little comedy. I don't know, the livest comedian. It just stands for take it like it comes. I'm cool, but you take it like it comes.
You are too funny. I need you to get a little bit more on the mic.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
There you go. There you go. So it's been going this crap with our politics here and everything that's going on in the world. It done got real crazy. Okay, Jim Jordan. He's a Republican representative in the House of Representatives for the state of Ohio, a Republican. Now, after Matt Gaetz jumped up with his big square head butt and said, after Kevin McCarthy, remember, he begged and begged and begged for the gavel to be the Speaker of the House. He was like, I do what you need me to do, sell my soul. I don't care what you need me to do, I do it. And so one of the provisions that he said that he would accept the gavel is that any one person in the House could stand up and rescind his speakership. And Matt Gaetz was the one that did it. Okay, now he didn't jump up and say, okay, I want to kick Kevin McCarthy out and then I want to be voted as speaker. He just did that and not all hell done broke loose. Right. Jim Jordan, the Republican from Ohio, he decided to throw his hat in the ring, as did Scalise. He decided to throw his hat in the ring. And then early on, Scalise said, okay, well, no, my bad. That ain't really what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. Jim Jones says, I want to do it. Your thoughts on what they sent Kevin McCarthy through to go through 15 votes, and now Jim Jordan, who I said Jim Jones, Lord,
right. You take the wrong person.
Wrong person, still crazy stuff. He has been voted down. On the first vote, he lost 20 of his Republican people. On the second vote, he lost 22. He got to vote another today by 25. When does he give up, Cool TLC? When does he
he gave up today. He said he ain't running no more. He said today he ain't running no more. He don't need to run because he's not a good candidate for House Speaker. He's not. He's just not. His ideology is all off. It don't represent what they represent. And he just jumped in the race because he just wanted somebody out the way. He just really wanted TV time. It wasn't even about really getting in the race. He just liked TV time. And that's all.
But he's not good on TV.
He thinks he is.
But he thinks he is. He is really not. He is not good on television. He is not good. And the fact that this was one of the guys, a major influence in the January 6th insurrection and the coup. He was like, calling the president. They talking on the phone. He said, well, I didn't call him. They got records of him talking to the president, the former president, time and time again about what to do, how to maneuver this, what we're going to do to make this work. And then he goes, well, I want to be the speaker. Nobody wants you to be the speaker. Why can't they just see he is not the right guy? We get it.
Oh, we don't have to see right now. He ain't the guy. So we don't even have to worry about that. That's past tense now. He ain't the guy.
So
he out the office. He out. He ain't coming back to do it because he can't even run no more. He just said he bowed out gracefully.
Well, see, now there was just a ticker tape on CNN. He said, okay, I know I said I wasn't going to run again, but let's do another vote on Monday.
And they're going to vote even more.
Now he flip-flopping. So now you think this is the guy that you want to put in charge of keeping command of the House of Representatives? What is 425 of them? And he can't even make a decision about him, well, I won't run again because we'll get somebody else in there. Then 2 or 3 hours later, he goes, well, no, let's take another vote on Monday. Maybe people have changed their mind. But did he forget that there were other people in the Republican Party threatening their fellow Republicans and pressuring them to vote for him?
Oh yeah, he got 86 of them votes. He got 86 of them votes. But it don't even make no difference because if they vote Monday, he might be up to 30, 35.
And that won't accept it.
Right. So you just taking a gamble that you're gonna talk to people over the weekend and change their mind. He does not need to be in this position as House Speaker. He doesn't. He just don't. He don't deserve it, and he can't run it.
He can't run it. He doesn't even, he has done zero, zilch. You look at his voting record for the state of Ohio. How many bills has he even introduced in the whole time he's been there? And he's been there over 10 years. What has he done for the state of Ohio, even in his own party? Now, you know it's bad when people are supposed to be on your side tell other people, stay away from them. Don't do it. One of my girlfriends, she met this guy, fell in love, and he goes to his mother and his sisters, and he tells them that he wants to marry her. And so the mother and the sister, they say, well, we would like to meet her. Is that all? We would like to meet her before you marry her. These people are like in their 40s and 50s, right? So the mother and the daughter, they meet my girlfriend, and they're sitting down with her. And this is now, his mother and his sister said to her, run. Don't get involved with him. He is not a good person. He has never been a good husband. He's a horrible father. He's a terrible son. And the sister said, and he is not real good at being a brother. He comes around with a handful of gimme and a mouthful of much obliged. Just run. She didn't believe it. Some people, you could tell them what the deal is, and they're like, well, you just don't want to see me happy. You just don't want to see me happy. Jim Jordan got that attitude. You just don't want to see me be the speaker. Okay, but you're not going to be a good speaker. You're not even a good politician. So anyway, she marries him. She went against everybody's advice. She marries him.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to say a good 93 days into the relationship, into the marriage, she was like, I got this. She called me up. She was like, girl, I got to get away from him. He is really crazy. And this is really bad. His mother and his sister told me to run, get away from him. And I said, so you didn't believe fat meat was greasy. You didn't believe what his mother and his sister said about him. And you did it anyway. Now you got to get away from him. So now people got to, maneuver and plot to keep you in a safe place because he threw all of her clothes out the window in the wintertime.
Right.
In the snow.
Right.
So you really thought that was going to be a good match? Then he said he was sorry. He was sorry. And he wasn't going to do it again. And you can move back home. Just come back home to me, baby. I miss you. I'm sorry. I really did that.
Well, yeah.
Same thing happened again.
Well.
So it's like when people tell him, people have said to Jim Jordan, we don't want you in this position. You would be second in line to the commander in chief. You are not you're not even fit to be in the House of Representatives. You won't even accept responsibility for you said you didn't know anything about it, for your ignorance in the sexual abuse of over 177 student athletes at The Ohio State University that were being sexually assaulted by the doctor.
Right.
But you said, I know nothing about that.
Right. I mean, he don't care about all this stuff. Don't make no deal to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell people stuff. That's why I stay out of other people's business. I can tell you once. I can tell you twice. After that, I'm good. You have to learn a lesson on your own. He has to learn a lesson. He already knows he's not good enough. But you know what? Ain't nobody gonna chin check him. So if they was, he wouldn't be in office. And that's the problem. That's the whole problem. But that's the voters. Voters did that.
Okay, but peep this. The other day, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, maybe when he lost the second round, before the third vote came up, they had a secret meeting behind closed doors with Republicans that in secrecy, they said, man, this is not the guy that we want to have representing the House of Representatives. This is not who we want. And in a secret vote, he lost. Now, nobody else is seeing this, but in a secret vote behind closed doors, he
Right.
lost. So that doesn't tell you we don't want you. That's like a rejected woman, like a stalker. Now he like a stalker of the house. He want the house gavel, and he's stalking them. Well, y'all better vote me, and my friends gonna get you up, because the Republican people in the party in the House are saying they've been getting threatening. They've been getting threats and being pressured to vote for him, or else what?
Right. But I mean, that's just okay. First of
First of
all, let me
all,
just say this: if I got to go behind a closed door to vote, I'm in the same party. I got to go behind a closed door. I can't say it out loud that I don't want to vote for you. What is this secret voting for? If we all in the same party, I don't want you to be in my party as the leader. I'm
right.
saying this. Why do I have to do a secret vote?
See now, okay. See now, there's a $25,000 question right there. Now this has all been public, and then after the secret vote, they made it public, and he lost that. So if you're out here in public and they're voting for you, and they're saying they're not voting for you, then they go behind closed doors and they vote against you. And this is in your own party. He can't even seem to reach across the aisle, to get any support, because the Democrats, every one of them said, no, wrong, nay, nada, not getting.
Right.
And then they were asking some of the Democratic, on the late night shows, they were asking some of the Democratic leaders, why didn't you save Kevin McCarthy's job? Why did they have to? You the ones wanted this crap show. You the one let him beg 14, 15 times, please make me the speaker. And we have not had a speaker, have not had a leader in the House of Representatives for what, I think it's 17 or 18 days. It's been more than 2
You're
weeks.
right.
Last time that happened was in 1971. We were
Right.
children, and you didn't learn anything from this.
It don't even matter if the Democrats don't do nothing. If you could just stand over there in the corner and be like, nah, 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 y'all can't get it right, it still don't make no difference because the government is not moving. So it don't rely. Yeah, I get it. This Republican Party ain't doing nothing, and we gotta blame them, and then we gotta do this, and they ain't gonna get it together. But at the same time, the government ain't moving.
No, we're
The
just like
Democrats can't do it by themselves.
And the Republicans cannot do it by themselves. It has to be bipartisan. This is what works for us. I want to run everything, and I don't care what you think my record is. I'm qualified to do this. And that's something he has never came out and said that he was qualified to do it.
I mean, he must be qualified to do something. He in government. So evidently, he was qualified to be the representative for Ohio. So I ain't gonna say he ain't qualified. He just ain't qualified for that job. He's not qualified, but he's qualified to do something. But whatever he's doing, who fault is it? The people. The people.
Because they keep voting him in.
Right. So you can't get mad.
You keep voting these people in, and they're not doing the will of your community, of your district, but yet you keep voting them in over and over and over again. This is how they have these career politicians. It's like the voters get like real lazy. Well, Mitch McConnell, he's been our representative, so we don't even need to read the ballot. We'll just, see his name and put the check back, push the button. We used to have Chads. Okay. And they don't think, but then they want, after they see the results of their vote, then they get angry. Then they're mad. Why aren't you doing this? How come you're not expanding childcare? Why you want to take away my Social Security check? Why you want to make sure I don't have health care? Okay, but you said you didn't want Obamacare. When it was health care for all, they didn't even realize that.
Right.
Now it's coming home to roost.
But ain't that what we all do? We all do the same thing. I'm not going to call the kettle black, and I do the same thing. I'll wait. If I don't get into something, I'll wait. Or if I don't vote on something, you'll wait to see what the end result. And then when it don't match with you or it's not what you think, now you get upset. But you had nothing to do with it.
And you don't have any reason to say anything. People who don't vote don't have a voice. People that won't vote should not have a voice. And they're trying to block people from voting. When you're telling college kids, we want to raise the voting age up to what, 21, 25 or something crazy like that. But at 18, you could go join the military and we'll teach you how to become a trained killer, but we don't want you to vote for anybody somebody who's going to put you in that kind of a position. And they're just not looking at the balance. And that is voter problems. That's not they're keeping the information away from us. I mean, just like when people hear about gerrymandering, they don't even know what that means. They think of some guy named Jerry and his last name is managing. No, they're cutting your district up into little pieces so you have a more difficult time getting to a voting poll, getting to a voting booth. When they start taking 170 voting stations out of states and whatever, but people got to stand in line for 10 to 12 hours, and then your government is threatening other people. I come over there, you've been standing in line for 5-6 hours. I got a case of water. Here goes some water. Here's a snack to help you with this. Okay, then I can get arrested because they have a constitutional right to vote.
Right. And then people let them get away with it. Because how do you make this a law that I go to jail for that? How do you make that a law? You can't. How do you make that a law? Explain to me how that becomes a law, and I can get arrested for it. Explain it to me, because it don't seem like it's real.
It's ridiculous. It's like they just threw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. And and people were still standing in line. They were still waiting. They got smarter too. They started bringing their own provisions with them as they stood in line. They started bringing their own chairs, and then they were saying, if you see elderly people, don't try to help them. If you see disabled people, don't try to help them. If they could get there if they want to. One of the idiots said the other day, people that are disabled and in wheelchairs, they shouldn't be seen in public, and all they got to do is just get up and walk to the poll.
Hey, well, I mean, that's only good for people that ain't in that position. Everybody can talk and sympathize and empathize, but if you ain't in that position, that's all you doing. But if you was in that position, it'd be a horse of a different color. But see, everybody can talk a good game when they ain't going through nothing. Everybody can talk the best policy, the best, oh, you should do this and do that when you ain't in it. But when you in it, it's woe is me and no it's this and no it's that. Come on. We let stuff slide by because we won't take accountability for it. That law, you can't pass out nothing to people in the line. Well, show me where that's on the book.
And they're just, arranging stuff and rearranging stuff and just, really scare tactics, because like you said, where is that a law on the books that you could put somebody in jail, have them arrested, put them in jail for helping their fellow human being who is standing in a line in the heat, in the rain, and whatever the inclements, the elements doing at that particular time on that particular day. And some of us other people come and we aid you. And then you got like the voter patrol. Okay, you get away from them. You can't give them any water. You can't give them any food. What? I don't care if they're a diabetic and they've been standing in this line for 10 months, for 10 hours. Okay, so their blood sugar will plummet. Also, maybe they'll stroke out and that'll be a vote that we won't need to get.
Right, but what I'm gonna do is, okay, you say I can't pass it out in the line. I'm stopping everybody at the corner and say, hey, look here. I'm giving you this water before you go in. They can't do nothing about it. They can't do. It's nothing they can do. If you have free water, free chips, it's nothing they can do about it.
And you're not on the polling grounds.
And I'm not on the polling ground.
And that's the big thing. But they just throw things up and say, well, we're going to do this and you better like it. Just like Jim Jordan came in. I want to be the Speaker of the House. Okay, so I lost 3 times. Okay, well, let's do a vote on Monday. I mean, they sent Kevin McCarthy through hell and gasoline draws. And he got the gavel, and then not even a year later, Matt Gaetz jumps up, well, I want him removed. But then nobody wants to stand up and say, I'll take the spot. Hakeem Jeffries said, I would do it. I want to run for Speaker of the House. He is a well-versed politician. He can speak political language, and he can work across the aisle. And he's getting more votes each time they vote. They do it. They did a live one. I think it was today, and he got more votes. I think he got like 126 votes, and Jim Jordan
he got 210.
210.
Yeah, he got 210, and Jim got 194.
And I want to know what makes them think that 194 is more than 210.
No, they didn't think that. They just saying he came up short, but they know Jeffries came up with more votes than him. But once again, it's just like I don't care how we gonna put it, but it's just like Jeff Reese is trying to be the daddy at somebody's house because the daddy ain't there.
Well,
And
that's
that's what, and the kids is looking at him like, you ain't my daddy.
you can't tell us what to do.
And that's the way this is all set up. Because he's trying to be, I get it. You might can reach across the aisle, you cool as heck. But they looking at, look, we need our own daddy here. We don't need this extended daddy, this stepdaddy that we don't even like.
Well, if going along with your analogy, Jordan, even wanting to jockey for that position of husband, father of the House Republican, of the House of Representatives, I'm sorry, the House of Representatives, and none of the kids like him. And they talk, Mama, we don't like him. Don't get him. Don't let him in the house. We don't like him, Mama. He smell funny. He ain't right. We don't want him in here. And then she'll go, well, what's the matter, babe? Well, he didn't look out for his wrestlers. He don't look out for us. We still living in a tin can out here in his district in Ohio. Mom, don't let him in here and do that. And that's not minimizing the situation. That's really because we need to work as a family in the United States of America. We need that daddy figure in the presidency. We need that mama figure. I thought one of the bomb couples were Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. Yes, and I know they're up there in years, but they know more. It got more knowledge in their pinky finger than most of them have in their entire body. And they knew what they were doing, and she could keep control of the house. And now it's in a complete disarray. And you don't think Hakeem Jeffries could, step in there and be a good daddy to the people and make sure that that they were working for the people and not for their own gain?
No, I never said he couldn't, but it's still going to be some opposition because they don't want him in the Republican Party over them either. So it's still gonna be tit for tat. I'm gonna just keep it 100. Yeah, the Democrats are together with each other right now, but they fighting amongst themselves too.
They are, but not like the Republicans are.
But not now because we ain't focused on them. But they was fighting when we was all focused and it was a House of Representatives. They was still fighting against each other.
And it's going to always be that infighting when people choose to not get along, choose to not follow the rule of law, choose to say, well, it's going to be my way or the highway, and not sit down in a bipartisan way and come to grips and come to agreement on what the will of the people is. They're not going to agree on everything. And I understand that. They have to learn to be respectful and agree to disagree. And when they do, top of mind should be the first order of business. How do I help my constituents and show them that I have their back? I have their back, and I'm going to do what they sent me to this office, what they sent me to Washington to do on their behalf and in their name. And they get there and go, well, nah, it's the Jim Jordan show, and I don't have to do anything. It's the Rand Paul show. It's the new because this goes back way, way back. And for them to, not even look at history and understand back in 1971, the country went 18 days without a speaker. Now, and we can't afford to go without a speaker now. It's too much turmoil going on inside of the United States. People are, did you hear Biden's speech after he came back from Israel?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
He was just, it was great to hear him talking like the way he is. Mm-hmm. But it's just too much popping up now. We got too many wars popping up, and we trying to be the civil leader of everything, and we supplying everybody with everything. And it's great, but when will we not gonna get along?
No, but when do Americans get on the front burner of these politicians, and when do the politicians say, okay, yeah, because the president asked for like $60 billion for Ukraine and $16 billion for Israel. Okay, now if you could come up with 60 and 16, that's $76 billion that you want to give, and I'm all for helping my fellow man, our allies. We should be your first order of business. How are we going to make sure that these programs that we have created, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the SNAP program, child care, we need to really work on universal health care, and we need to get our roads fixed. We need bridges reconstructed or raised and rebuilt. We need schools to be built. We need hospitals to be built. We need to
Right.
train a workforce to be able to keep us going with, with as we become energy conservationists, and people are going to, be buying electric cars, and we're using AI for everything. And you can't, it's hard for me to understand how the government can focus on other governments and other countries and put them in a priority position and just say, well, Americans, you all can just wait. You're doing all right. They're not coming over here fighting us. And, they want to keep this up. We'll go over there. But right now, most people are concerned about the high cost of, in the United States, the high cost of rent, inflation. They're concerned about interest rates going up. They're concerned about the high food prices. They're concerned about housing. People can't get affordable daycare. And these are all situations that collectively we can repair inside of the country.
Right.
But you want to give 70 something $billion? People understand what $1 billion is. $1 billion is $100 million 100 times. Just let that marinate. $100 million. I got $1 billion. I got 100 of my friends. I'm gonna give each one of them $100 million. That's $1
Right.
billion.
Right.
And you can take that kind of money and not make sure our funds our programs are funded. That's the part I have a problem with. Yeah, we can help other people, but charity, and it's not that we're looking for charity. People got to understand this. We are the government. We, the people, are the government. We're allowing these politicians to make them to the point they think that they're the government, that they don't work for us. They are employees of the people of the United States of America. And it's unfortunate they're employees of the people who voted them in, and they're also employees of the people who did not get up and go and exercise their constitutional right to vote.
Right. Right. But then I'm gonna just throw this on the table. We don't look out for ourselves, so how are we gonna look out for anybody? Americans don't look out for Americans. We don't like to look out for ourselves here. So how we mad at we looking out for everybody else when we don't even look out for ourselves here?
When you say that we don't look out for ourselves here, what comes to mind for you? What's top of mind?
The human beings don't look out for each other. Our whole attitude, well, hey, I got it, you get it too. But
And
what
I'm not
happens
gonna
with
help.
that person that's not able to? Or something may be physically wrong with them, but that's not your problem. So if that's not your problem, we got this same attitude that we have with why is the government taking care of somebody else?
And they won't take care of us, and they won't put logical gun laws into place to allow people to just walk into a gun store, walk into a gun expo, buy all kinds of ammunition that are meant to, they're strictly made for killing. They're made for slaughtering.
Right.
And they keep making them, and they don't say, well, you could do a background check, but that's every now and then. It's not for everybody. Everybody does not. It does. They say in the United States, it's more guns than people in the United States. At
Right,
least,
but the whole thing is, I can say the government can put out every rule they want to. They can put out everything and tell you this. But where do the people hold responsibility for that? Before it get to the gun laws, where's the responsibility of the people that got the gun? I ain't talking about everybody, because some people are, responsible gun owners. Some
right, they
are,
are.
but some are not. So
And
where does it rely on the government before it rely on us?
see, and that's where we were hoping that getting better gun laws, more restrictive gun laws, especially for people who should not, because there's laws on the books that felons are not supposed to have guns, and people that are on probation are not supposed to have guns, and people that are have been dealing with the law, they shouldn't have guns, but they do. We
Right,
had a
that's what I
bank
said.
robbery out here
Yeah.
one time in downtown LA, and it was just so bizarre. I mean, these men and or women, we couldn't tell because they were in tactical gear from head to toe. They had bulletproof
Right.
vests, they got
Right.
automatic weapons, they got
Right.
all this tactical stuff, and they went down and I mean shot up downtown LA. I don't think they ever. I don't even know if they caught him. But for the criminals to have better firepower than the police departments, and even oftentimes, well, I don't think they got better firepower than the military. But the fact that these guns are out here and they're not making, gun. I mean, people are being murdered every single day from gun violence. Every day, somebody walked up to a police officer sitting in his car, minding his business, walked up to him the other day and just shot him. Just shot him.
Right.
For
But
what?
that's why I said where I get it with the gun laws and all this and stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is where the responsibility of the person.
And those are the
Before it
gun
gets to a
owners.
gun law, before a gun law tell me what I can and not do, where does the responsibility comes from me in my mental state, in my mind, to be responsible?
See,
Because the gun law don't have nothing to do with me.
and it really doesn't. It has a lot to do with your demeanor and your mentality. And while they're
Right.
doing background checks, to people, they should also be doing mental health checks. The fact that we're even talking out loud in public about, the mental health of this country and other countries. I mean, you think about it. They got a drug for everything. You depressed? Well, your depression medication is not working like you wanted to. Well, let's add another antidepressant method to it. And then they give you all the side effects. And then you're like, now you got to worry about that. Am I taking the right
Right.
medication? Who do I believe about, my mental health? And then they'll say, well, we'll give you this pill, but one of the side effects could be that you might have suicidal tendencies. What if you never had that? So you could directly correlate that to
Right.
taking an antidepressant drug or two antidepressant drugs. Then they say if
Right.
you're taking antidepressant drugs, you can develop a condition called, I want to say, tardive dyskinesia. I know I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Where your hand shakes and you have these involuntary movements, and you drop things, and it's because of a side effect of your medication. But they don't want to talk about that when they're asking people. You want to get a gun? They should have a mental health test that they could take, like like a standardized test, like they used to give us. You had to know so much information before you could graduate from high school. You had to know so much information before you
Right.
graduated from college, or you got certified to do anything else. And we don't do that. They send the nail salon people, owners, and the barbers through more rigorous rules and regulations than they do people who want to get a gun.
Right. Right. But once again, my whole thing is without all these laws and all this education, where does the responsibility come from the individual?
And it comes
Because
from,
it don't all these drugs and all this stuff don't have nothing to do with your person, with you, with me. It don't
okay.
have nothing to do with me.
But then they make it about you because I mean, people have walked up in. One man down here walked up into, I think it was a beauty salon, a nail salon, and he was looking for his ex-wife. Therein lies, he shot up. I think he killed 6 people in the salon
Right.
looking for his ex-wife. Now they always, want to say, first thing they say is, "Oh, it must have been a black or a Latino." This was a wealthy, well-to-do white man that went down there. He shouldn't have had a gun, and it shouldn't be, where okay, well, your race and your ethnicity shouldn't have anything to do with that. We should talk about your mental acuity and can you handle and how you will handle being a responsible gun owner. And there's nothing for that. There's nothing for that. You got
No.
you got a permit to carry a gun. So if you
Right.
get a permit to carry a gun, you need to be able to pass a mentally stable sort of test to make sure that you're not going to go out here and do anything. But then they'll say, well, they just snapped. They just couldn't take it. It was just too much. So your solution to the issue is get a gun and shoot somebody?
Oh yeah. I mean, they just. I mean, it's hard to explain because you know people do these tests and some people can fake this. It's not like you can't fake, because how can you look at anybody and tell that they mental?
Mm-hmm.
That you can't. You can't look at somebody and be like, oh, they look mental. Well,
Oh,
what
well,
does
no,
mental?
sometimes you could tell.
But what
Sometimes,
does but what does mental really look like?
and,
Because somebody can be straight and they could have mental problems and look
and,
like they cool.
and I think if we were all really honest with ourselves, the majority of us, suffer from mental challenges, mental health issues. They have a commercial running out here. I don't know if it's running across the country, where a doctor comes on and she is saying that our children are experiencing mental health breakdown. They have some sort of a stress that's going on inside of their bodies when they're part of they're a product of a divorce. They're a product of being sexually assaulted, and people just well, they'll grow out of this. I don't know what it is, and the doctor's saying stress in a child will lead to stress in an adult if it is not addressed. And the fact that when I was growing up, my biggest stress was, can I get in the house before curfew? Can I make it home before my mama get home? That's my stress level. I'm not thinking about where we're going to live, what we're going to eat, what we're going to wear, will we have clothes, can we get to the doctor? We didn't have stuff like that. And this is what people are dealing with every single day. And then you want to put on top of them, well, we want to take $76 gajillion dollars and go help these two wars. But, we really won't deal with your mental health issues right now. Matter of fact, we're going to, take some of the funding away from mental health issues. And I'm like, wait, what? This is not making sense.
Yeah.
I can't feed your children and not feed my children. And that seems to be their mentality. Feed us before you feed yours. And we can't survive like that. We have to learn to lean on and treat each other with dignity and respect, even if we don't agree with them. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on I really don't agree with. I'm going to say something about it and, let the rabbit set and see what happens. All we can do is put it out there and see how people are going to respond, or how we are going to respond. Will we become the adults in the room? Or are we going to just jump into the fight and whine, moan, and complain about everybody's picking on me? Why won't you just let me have it? I just don't pick on me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it.
Right. But I mean, that's just it.
Speaking of sorry and I didn't mean to do it attitude. Okay, we know that the 45th president has been into a crap show up to his neck from the beginning. And it's all coming back to haunt him. They had 19 co-conspirators that were contributing to the people involved in the insurrection and egging it on. And after the insurrection didn't work, even though it didn't work, 5 people lost their lives in this. Countless others were injured. Now there are 19 co-defendants in a conspiracy in a RICO case down in Georgia, with Fonnie Willis presiding as the Attorney General. Well, 2 of them done flipped over. Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro. Now, Sidney Powell, she pleaded guilty to 6 misdemeanors, even though, and she said, "Yep, I did that. I'm sorry. I knew it was the wrong thing to do." And to me, she got a slap on the wrist. She pleaded guilty to 6 misdemeanors, not 66 federal charges, even though she still got one hanging over her head. 6 misdemeanors. She got 6 years probation, a $6,000 fine, and she has to write an apology letter to the people of the state of Georgia.
Right.
Do you think that's a fair sentence for her with all she did? And she also said she never represented the president and the former president, and she never represented his organization, his whole work.
Right.
Was that a slap on the wrist when she knew all of this was going on?
I mean, as far as I know, did she get any kind of justice? Yes, she did. What she should have got, I really don't know, because somebody didn't feel like that she deserved it all. So if somebody feel like that, whatever she got out of that, she got out of it, but it's not really over. These people still got to go on with their lives. So you got to live the way you got to live anyway. That's your own karma. So
and that's
I just don't know what it is.
One of the things that because I was like, really, that's all she getting? 6 years probation for defrauding people? Defrauding the American people, and specifically the state of Georgia. And Fonnie did say this, though. This is part of Sidney Powell's plea deal. Okay, you'll get this plea deal. You'll be found guilty on 6 misdemeanors. You will get a 6-year probation, a $6,000 fine. You will have to write a letter of apology to the people of the state of Georgia. And you got to testify against the other co-conspirators in any and every trial that we bring up. You will be a witness. So obviously, Fonnie Willis thought and felt like, and the prosecutors thought she had something very valuable to share with them about all of this craziness that went on during the 2020
Right.
overthrow the election. Okay, so then Kenneth Chesebro, they were supposed to go on trial together because they opted for a speedy trial from the
Right.
state of Georgia.
Right.
Well,
Right.
Speedy was like, I don't want to do none of that. So she pleaded guilty. So then on today, Kenneth Chesebro said, okay, I want to take that deal. I'll take the deal. He got a similar deal. He got 5 years probation. He has to pay a $5,000 fine, and he has to write an apology letter as well to the state of Georgia. He also has to testify in any and all subsequent trials that come up with them. And this time with Chesebro, he specifically said the 45th president of the United States was intricately involved in this. He had to mention his name at least a half a dozen times when he was getting his saying his plea deal. And
Right.
they kept asking, do you know what you're saying? He says, yes, I do. Do you know what this means? He said, yes, I do. And both of them said they understood. And she said, now, let me explain this to you. If you speak to anybody, if you threaten anybody, if you want to say anything to anybody about this trial and anything else, all of this is off the table and you will go to jail. And Sidney Powell, she still got a federal case hanging over her. A federal case. So she could still, go to jail. She
Right.
still go to jail.
Right. But these people ain't got to be around nobody. See, that's the thing. They ain't got to be around nobody. They not public figures. They not none of that. So they don't have to be around nobody. They can stay in the house until every trial come up. And they can spill their guts and say, hey, this person did this, because they don't hold no political office.
They still have licenses to practice law. And in my opinion, I think that they should be unfit to practice law because they broke the laws. They broke them, and they broke them on a high level. And for them to say, well, I don't think, I'm hoping that they will keep their mouths shut, because I want to hear what they have to say. And then, and I want to hear more of what Kenneth Chesebro has to say about this, because he was letting us know he was intricately involved. These are the players. He called the president by name on several occasions. And they said, if you do anything to upset this plea deal, I'm hauling your behind right back in the court and you can go to jail.
Right. He ain't gonna do that. He gonna spill the guts.
Wait,
Why would I want to go to jail when I can just tell all the business? It don't make no difference. Because whatever they gonna give me, but we made a plea deal. So as a lawyer, I'ma stick with the plea deal. I got to tell, it's certain things that I can say and certain things I ain't gotta say.
Right.
And he know what he can say and what he can't say. He a lawyer.
Under oath, he's got to tell the truth because there's a law against lying.
Right, but
oath.
he know how
to manipulate that.
Yeah, so we don't. As human beings, as regular people, we don't know that. If we do that, everybody would be a lawyer.
Right. Oh, definitely. Okay, and remember when he was saying, if anybody goes to jail, I've got you. I'm gonna pay your bond. I'll pay for your lawyers. And
right.
Yeah, right. And then the other, I think they're gonna all start turning on him because Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro were like, I'm not going to jail for you. I'm not going to do this. I will tell you whatever they want. I'm not going to jail for you. And how many other ones? Because now they're talking about disbarring Rudy Giuliani from him ever practicing law anywhere. He shouldn't be allowed to practice.
Yeah. I mean, that's still, once again, that's just them making big money. Don't stop them from making money. You just make them stop them from big money. It's because just because you tell me I can't practice, don't mean I can't give advice though, too.
Oh, see, now there's a point, but who would want to take advice from him?
Somebody that the people that's still behind him.
And
see you can't forgetting that it's people still behind these people that's doing dirt. And I don't have to go to the regular public. I can go to these people because they believe in me.
And I can go to the people who believe what I'm saying.
Right.
This is how crazy it's getting. The 45th was I want to say he was in Iowa the other day. And every day he seems to go more and more down the abyss. He said the other day that it was the problem with Joe Biden and his boss, Barack Hussein Obama. Now that's what he said.
Oh, okay.
And he kept saying Barack Hussein Obama. Like, what is that supposed to do? You know how crazy you sound talking about Joe Biden works for President Barack Hussein Obama, who hasn't been in office for almost 8 years. And this is what
Yeah.
you see. If that don't tell you his memory is like really, really not working, he's not being cognitive, and he's showing every single day he is not fit to run for anything.
Right. He does. He does. And I'm gonna just say this because I see the compare. I'm about to make a comparison, whether people believe it or not. He does what we do as humans because there's a lot of people that got grudges of people and won't let it go.
Well,
So that he does what we all do.
well, see, and to me, that's such a waste of time to carry a grudge for that long. I don't even think he remembers why he has a grudge. You know, he was president and he only got one term, and then Joe Biden was president and his first term is almost up. So that's 8 years. Former President Barack Obama has not been the president of the United States. So that doesn't tell you he 8 years behind in his memory. You know, when he starts going back further, I mean, because the chickens are coming home to roost, and people have been telling us about him for decades. How he was a horrible businessman, how he was a terrible landlord, how he lied on his financials to puff himself up to get bigger loans, and not even paying the loans back. So, you know, now the paperwork. I mean, when you got 4 different places in New York and Florida and Georgia and the District of Columbia all got charges against you, and you still keep coming on here talking, if that doesn't say you're a sociopath, I don't know what is. His mental health, he really needs to get some mental health specialists up on with him. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he act like a kid, and he acts like every other kid that you ever seen that ain't never got their butt whooped. And they always get, and there's a lot of parents out here that do that. Oh, I'm not whooping my child. My child does no good. I'm not whooping him. And then your child goes buck wild like this. So
Right.
this is nothing that we haven't seen before. It's just funny that now we just seeing it from an older person that's in office. But it's here we go pointing a finger at somebody that acts just like us.
He's a bully. You know, everybody is not a bully.
But
Well,
they are bullies.
sometimes to a point, you know, you have to be in the bully pulpit. Sometimes you do, but it's the way that you do it. And when you bullying is when you putting somebody else down to make yourself look better. Sometimes we can be hit over the head with things that we might not see, and then somebody can bring it up. You go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and you can change your trajectory and your thinking. Sometimes that works. Oftentimes, when you're dealing with somebody who has never shown any kind of compassion, any kind of empathy for another
Right.
human being, up to and including his wives and his children, that I can do whatever it is I want to do, and you're just going to let me do it because I am who I am. And people just kept letting them do it, and they keep letting them do it. I mean, the states are starting to have votes to have him not be on their ballots in their state. And why are you picking on me? I don't know why people don't like me. Oh, nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. Guess I'll go eat worms. That was a song we taught
Right.
our campers
Right.
when they were children. That's not what you do. You don't have a pity party. And you certainly don't have one in public. And after a while, when you do keep having it in public, because he's like the boy that cried wolf.
Right.
They coming after me. They don't want me to be elected. They coming after me. Y'all gotta help me. Y'all gotta help me. Why? Did you lift one finger to help any one of your American constituents? I mean, we went through a horrible pandemic with you at the helm. We went through learning and understanding that people on your team were hiding and confiscating and hoarding
Right.
respirating machines. Okay, and I guess we're all supposed to forget about all that craziness and how you conspired with all these attorneys and other politicians to force them to overturn votes and put fake electors in. Whatever you got to do. We heard him on the telephone telling Rasberger down there in Georgia, you got to find me X amount of votes. That's all I need, and then everything will be cool. You even called for your vice president to be
Right.
hung during the insurrection. But 70 million of you all want this guy to continue to rule, or to
That's it. You just hit it on the head. 70 million people want it. So the other ones that ain't voting, how many is that? How
Right.
many of the ones that ain't voting compared to the ones that do vote?
See, and that therein lies the problem. Okay, this is another bad thing with politics. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of our beloved Robert F. Kennedy Sr., who was assassinated here in California in 1968 at the Ambassador Hotel. I can't believe I remember all of that just like that. And this is his son, his eldest son, his namesake, who's
Right.
decided he was leaving the Democratic Party and he was going to run as an independent. Okay, remember I told you a story about my girlfriend who married this guy, and his mother and sister told her, run, don't even get involved in that, right?
Right. Right.
Robert F. Kennedy's brothers and sisters sent out a public statement that said, don't do it. Don't even allow him on the ballot. I know he has our father's name and he's a Kennedy. He has none of our father's values. He has none of our father's visions. He is not fit to run for president of the United States.
Right.
Now, you know when your brothers and sisters tell you, because you know they know where the bodies are buried. Why would
Right.
you even get in a race when your own people don't trust you?
Because he can. That don't, just because my people don't trust me don't mean they still run me. You talking to an older man. You're
Yeah,
not talking to a kid. You're not talking to, he's set in his ways. If he want to run, that's what he gonna do. Ain't nobody gonna tell him what he can't do.
he
You
shouldn't
can't tell
run,
him, right, he shouldn't, but that don't mean he
and
ain't.
he won't. You know, a lot of them shouldn't be politicians, but they run and they can get
Right.
elected.
Because they grown and they feel like they can do it.
I
And
can do whatever I want to. See,
right.
and you can. Okay, so speaking of doing whatever you want to, Cam Newton. I'm going to another Cam Newton, who
Right.
was a quarterback in the NFL. Last team I remember him playing for was the Carolina Panthers. Okay,
Okay.
so he got cut from them, and they said you can go do whatever it is you want to do. Okay, well he has been involved with this lady named Kia Porter, who they have 4 children. Now she having baby after baby after baby after baby. She's his baby mama. She's not his wife. She's not his former wife. She just kept popping out babies, and
Right.
everything was all cool and hunky dory.
Right.
He buys a Rolls Royce, a very expensive car, back in what 2017.
Right.
And
Right.
so now she done had the car for 5 years. He decided to sue her and take her to court because he feels like she should give this back to him because he gave it to her as a gift as long as they were in a relationship. But once they broke up, he wants the car back. Now, is that tacky? Has that tackiness reached a whole nother level? When you've given a present to somebody, you gave it to them as a gift. Not only you gave it to somebody, you gave it to the mother of your 4 children. Your 4 kids, not somebody else's kids. You their baby daddy. And now you want her to get a car back to you. And what's she supposed to ride your kids around? How's she supposed to get them to school? What's she
Oh,
supposed to do?
hey, first of all, second of all, let me, because I already did it first. Second of all, if it's in her name, it ain't nothing he can do about
But
it.
he says it's not in her name. It's always been in his name, and the registration is in his name. And to me, it seems like, okay, but you gave this to her. You made a conscious choice to not put her name on that registration. You made a conscious choice to keep the car in your name. So, why would you come back and say, well, I know I gave it to you as a gift, but I want it back because you could only have it if we were in love. But now we're not, and I got another baby mama. I want my car back. So what?
Right. Why would she keep having baby after baby with him?
See,
Because
that's
she ain't learned the first time?
the,
The
that
second
part.
time?
That part is what I didn't understand. I mean, I know some people that they're not married and they got kids and everything, and the 2 of them said, well, we don't want to be married. We don't feel like we need to be married. We're family, and we're here with her, and she says I'm gonna be here with my family. So and we're all saying y'all need to get married. Y'all need to get married. And it was like, we don't, and they have a long family history of intact marriages. And for them to say, well, that's their choice. That's their
Right. That's their
decision,
choice. Yeah.
And for her to just maybe she thought, well, I'm gonna have a baby with him, and he's in the NFL, and he already got me a ticket. Maybe she was what they call them, the girls that's looking for the rich guys.
A gold digger?
Gold
Because
digger.
that's
See,
about
I
what it is.
couldn't even, it wasn't even coming to me.
Right.
Maybe and then she said, you know, well, after, well, he's not marrying me yet. Well, I get pregnant again. Now, why wasn't they using birth control and he wasn't marrying her? Because I'd have told him, dude, no, that's it. One baby, two babies, that's your wife. Two babies, you gonna marry her. Then she have a third baby and a fourth baby. And now you
Well, it ain't even like he couldn't marry her. It ain't like he
it ain't
couldn't
like
marry her because he got the money to do it. He got the time to do it. You ain't doing nothing but playing football, bruh. And you ain't going nowhere but playing football. So you just trying to be out here and get all these bras because you got money, cars, and all that. But when that run out and they dump you off from the league, and you ain't got no insurance and you can't take care of yourself because of injuries, or maybe you won't have no injury. Maybe you might walk out of this completely, and I don't put nothing on you. I'm not wishing it on you. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen. But say you walked out of here and you complete. That's great. But what happened if you ain't? Who gonna take care of you?
now.
Because
See now
somebody got to take care
you
of you.
see now, and that's what people don't understand, especially people that walk away from the children. They don't understand that these kids, they are a lot smarter. They're a lot more astute. They have access to a lot more information. The internet has been just exploded in all of our lives. They can find out things about you. You know, you could just
Right,
go in and type in your mama name, your daddy's name, and all kind of stuff come up. You can find out if they
right.
got a criminal record, you know, all kind of stuff. And so for you to say, I'm not going to do this, and what do you think they're going to think of you when they get to become teenagers, when they get to become adults, and you haven't been around, and they see, because you know what the kids say, if it's not on the internet, it didn't happen. But when it happens on the internet, everybody knows your business. And for
Right. It
you,
don't even need to happen on the internet. Forget the
we
internet. You
still got a
still
great,
got to reach.
what you say, we still got a grapevine?
Right. No, and not even a grapevine. You got to deal with your kid.
Mm.
And I don't care if I don't care if I got to deal with anybody else outside. You can tell me I'm a no good dad and unfit. I'm hearing you ain't in my life. So
Mm.
you not really considered to me. I hear what you saying, but I don't have to listen to what you saying. But my kid, yeah, at some point it's gonna sink in. And he gonna get it. But it's gonna take his kids to make him sink in to get it.
And that is going to be, that's going to be devastating for them, and this is for kids from broken homes, and homes that didn't even get the opportunity to become intact, to be broken, because you know, soon as the guy found out that he got the girl pregnant, he done went on off, because now he already got a wife and 3 kids, and he can't really
Right,
have, you know,
right,
this kid over here, and don't bring that kid over here, and tell this kid I'm their daddy, you know, because it's just gonna be mayhem. Knew this chick, she never got married. She got kids,
mm-hmm.
and she got kids by two different men. Okay, and the kids didn't know who their father was, and then when they start asking, well, who is my daddy? Can I get my daddy to go to the father-daughter dance with me? You know, is my dad gonna come and see me play a sports game? Well, you don't need to know that. Well, some kind of way, the kids found out
Right,
where the daddy lived. The guy, he went over to the man's house, knocked on the door, opened up the door. He said, my name is so and such, and you're my father. He said, I'm not your father. I am not your daddy. And don't you ever come to my house again. You know, and you could hear his wife in the back saying, well, he said he heard his wife in the back saying, honey, who is that? He said, I don't know, some stranger at the door. I'm telling them we don't want whatever he got. And from that point on, if you could have saw the look on this kid's face, it was just devastating.
right,
And after that, he said, you know what? I don't feel like I belong to anybody. If my own flesh and blood gonna deny me, I just don't want to. I just don't know where I fit in. Same thing happened to the other child.
right,
She went there. The dad said, "No, I'm not your father. I'm not gonna be your father. I'm not gonna be in your life. You ain't got to call me or nothing." And I had said when I talk to people like that, and I would say, "So now you've abandoned your children, okay? And you've gotten older." and you abandon your children, and say you're in your 50s or 60s, and your children are adult, and you have grandchildren that you don't have never met because you don't want to be involved in their lives, right? Okay, so you get sick, you get real sick, you get
Mm-hmm.
to the point you need a kidney, you need to get a kidney transplant.
Right.
So
Right.
now you calling on your kids. Please, I need some help. I'm on kidney dialysis. They telling me if I don't get a kidney transplant, I don't know how much longer I got to live. Woo data hapa shadupa. So the kids was like, well, you don't want to be bothered with us. We didn't want to be bothered with you.
Right.
They refused to even go get tested. There was a story about this. There was a story about uh, these two sisters and a brother. They grew up, in a really rough environment. Okay, so they grew up in and the after they got to be adults, the son, he goes off, and he does really well for himself. In the meantime, his sisters are struggling. They're struggling for years. He don't lift a finger to help them. Dog, kiss my
Right.
foot. I
Right.
ain't gonna help you do nothing.
Right.
And
Right.
and he gets sick. He gets real sick.
Right.
Y'all can Google this one. He gets real sick. He needs a kidney transplant. The doctor said, well, do you have any other relatives? He said, well, I got two sisters. They said, well, can you contact them? He said, oh, well, I haven't spoken to my sisters in years. They said, well, that might be your only hope. So, he's a wealthy man. So he got his people to, come in and say, I need you to
Mm-hmm.
help me, so that they got the papers and stuff. He flew the sisters to the hospital. They got tested. Both of them, which is rare, both of them were a perfect match for him.
Right.
Both of them.
Right.
So he's thinking, and they come down, and the sister said, well, we like to tell him that we're a match for him. So they go down and they tell him, we haven't seen you in a long time, and it's sad to see you in this particular situation. And we just wanted you to know that both of us are a perfect match for you to get a kidney transplant. And they leaned over, and one of them whispered in his ear, and they said, you will die before we help you. It's not going to happen. You saw no reason to help us. We're not going to help you. And they left, and he died. And
Right.
they felt no remorse. You got to forget. People forget about how they treat their children and their siblings. Like I tell my grandchildren all the time, y'all learn how to be good to each other, because you never know. You might need a kidney transplant. Who knows? You might need anything. You don't know, and you just never know when time is up. So you got to treat people at least with respect and dignity. And you just don't
Right.
think you could treat them any kind of way and nothing's going to
Right.
happen. And Cam Newton, he's a young guy. His kids are going to grow up and they're going to see him and a whole lot of these other people. And then when they see other people's families, when when their lives are intact and they are out here not running around and they're taking care of their families. I mean, when you look at people like, and I really admire these young guys, you look at people like LeBron James. He's a dedicated husband and family man. You look at Snoop Dogg. He got kids. He got grandkids. He loves all of them and they love him. When kids see how their parents are treating each other, we're their first markers. We're their
Right.
first markers of how they're I couldn't teach my son how to be a man.
Right.
That ain't my department. That ain't my
Right.
job. That's
All
not
day.
even my
Right.
wheelhouse.
Right. All day.
All day. That's his father's job. That's not my job. I do my stuff. I do my wifing and my mommy and stuff. And just know I could be on the front page of the mommy book. I'm just telling
Right.
you. He'll tell
Right.
you that.
That's
And
all.
when we teach them and they hearing all that screaming and hollering and you knocking their mother around and then you trying to defend your mother and he knocking you around and it just keeps going and going and going, and then they want to hold over. Well, I want the car back. It's a Rolls Royce. So then I'm thinking, well, he's not in the NFL anymore. So is he pressed for money? Does he want her to get a car back so he can sell the car? And he doesn't care about what happens to his children?
Oh,
That's something you think about,
yeah.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, that's just something to think about. And then, I mean, like like we said, everybody's karma is their karma. I ain't gotta wish nothing on you.
See,
And I really don't I really don't have to be involved in your life. Do what you do. I want you to do it and do it well.
right. Just do
Because
it
the
well.
only person you gonna bother is you.
You.
It ain't gonna affect me no way, if, ands, or buts.
And I don't
All
care.
I can do is shake my head.
And I don't care where you live, how much money you make. People will
Right.
still. I mean, it doesn't matter. I have met some of the richest, stupidest people on the face of the planet, and I'm like, uh, I don't, and a lot of people will do anything. Like you said, you said earlier, Jim Jordan just want to be on. He just want to be on camera. He just want
That's
to be
it.
on TV. A lot of them
Yeah.
just want to be on TV. Want to be somebody to talk about them because. And I feel like, and this is what I see, and I've been doing this a long time. People that need the spotlight like that, there's something empty inside of them. There's a void that is not being filled, and they keep trying to fill it with different things, with drugs, with alcohol, with
Right.
sexual encounters, with bullying people, with just being genuinely evil because they are empty, and they've been empty for so long. They don't even know how to go and ask for help, to even say, I feel empty. I feel lost. I need some help. Will you help me? And we were talking about mental health issues earlier. And I said this all the time. People told me I was crazy. I said, if anybody needs to talk to a therapist, it's Black people. We need to talk to people about our mental health, and we don't want to talk about it. And when I told them I was in therapy, they was like, well, what's wrong with you? You don't need to be going through no therapy. I said, that's the very reason why I'm going to therapy, so somebody could tell me that I'm really not crazy. And I started going through therapy when I was 14 years old because they
Right.
said a teacher beating me would leave me with psychological damage. And I said at 14, he'll leave me with psychological damage if I let him have that much real estate in my head. And I wasn't doing it. And it
Right.
wasn't
That's
going,
it.
shutting it off and leave. No, I'm done with that. I am,
Right.
and I've
Right.
learned to
Right.
say to people, when they would come to me and ask me about advice for their relationships and what have you, I had learned because I would sit there and I would listen to you, and then I come to realize some people just want to whine, moan, and complain.
Yeah.
They're
That's
not
it.
really not looking for a solution to their issue.
Nah. They just want somebody to hear them. And then when you don't get involved in their situation, it's a problem. I mean, because you think about it, most of the people that's listening to this show and online and everything,
Mm.
they got friends that just call and rant.
That's it.
They ain't trying
And
to
that's
hear
what they
nothing you
do.
trying to say.
Talk about their kids like a dog, talk about their mama, talk about their husband, talk about their boyfriend, their co-workers. And see, this is when I realized, okay, a light needs to go on in your head, honey, because they're coming to get too much energy from you and they're not really looking for a solution. And I learned to say, all right, baby, now let's just find what's your end solution? What is your end game? Because that's how I work. I see something that I want, something I want to do, somebody I want to meet, someplace I want to go. And I said, oh,
Right.
I want to go to Paris. Now, how am I going to get to Paris? I got to get a passport. I got to do this, that, and the third.
Right.
So you got to
Right.
go through steps to get there. So I learned to say, okay, what is your end result? Well, I don't know what it is. And then they go to rant and raving. And, I think I have made some headway in them. They got the snot and the tears and everything. They clean their faces up. And they say,
Right.
I'm going to make a change, my love. I'm going to make a change. 2 weeks later, they called him again. I said, I thought you was making a change. Well, I couldn't leave him. He wouldn't know what to do. She got issues. I would be concerned about her being out here in the world by herself. So I learned to say, are you venting or do you want a solution? Now, let me know. If you venting, just let me know.
Right.
I'm going to put you on the speakerphone. Because while you venting for 45 minutes, I could be done cooked dinner. I could have been did a load of laundry. I could have been read 4 or 5 chapters of a book. And they'll be like, yes, I'm listening to you. And I'm listening to your crazy, but you don't want a solution. When
Right.
you
So
ready
I
for a
mean, yeah.
solution, you call me and we'll look out. If I don't have an answer for you, I am more than willing to help you go and find that answer. But don't
Right.
be calling me up here ranting and raving just because you want to moan and complain.
That's why I said because I'm super petty. Sometimes I don't want to listen to my friend's stuff. Sometimes I'm on the phone and can't nobody tell me they don't be on the phone going, oh, dang, oh man, oh wow, that's crazy as hell. Okay, I feel you. Like, and in your mind, you be thinking like, man, I wish
Please
this
get off
person
my
get off the
phone.
phone. Please, somebody call me.
Please.
Yeah. What happened? Oh yeah. Huh? You want something?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, let me call you back. My cousin wants something. Or
See,
we make up stories because we don't want to. My thing is, Go in the mirror and talk to yourself. If your
Oh,
mirror image,
oh,
if your mirror image is looking at you and huffing and puffing, if it move out the mirror, if your mirror image move out the mirror, that means you doing too much.
you doing way too much. When your own image doesn't want to even talk to you, you know you're in bad shape. You know, and people
Right.
don't want to do that. One of the things that I still do this periodically, because I don't take myself serious for the most part, because I'm not coming out of life alive. Why not have as much fun, as much joy, as much
Right.
pleasantry in your life as you possibly can? And I remember I say to people, okay, let's get to the crux of it. This is what I want you to do. I want you to do this exercise. I want you to get your full-length mirror. They like $20. Invest that in yourself. Go to Walmart, Target, get your mirror. Full-length mirror. Just look in that full-length mirror, fully dressed. Then I want you to start taking off your clothes. You can start from your shoes and socks, or start from the top down, the bottom up, whatever. And once you are completely naked in that mirror, you start assessing what you like, what you don't like, what you want to change. You got to look at you first, because you're your own worst enemy. And the biggest lie that you can tell is the lie you tell yourself. And when you
Yeah.
look in that mirror, and first time I did it, I was like really, really, really in a dark place first time I did it.
Right.
And I took off all my clothes, and this is when I was still a really heavy woman. I always thought pretty highly of myself, and I didn't have a body conscious thing. I wasn't, didn't want to lose weight, to look better. I wanted
Right.
to lose weight because
Right.
I wanted to live a longer, healthy life. And so this is when I knew I was going to be all right, because when I did it the first time, and I didn't look up and watch myself take the clothes off. I just took them all off and looked at them. When I looked up in the mirror, all I could do was bust out laughing. And I
Right.
was like, are you really serious? This is what's bothering you? And that's when I knew my needs were a comedy routine. And so
Right.
look at yourself for real, for real, for real.
I ain't got one step better. I ain't got what that's one. I got another step for you.
Okay, what's
When
other?
you ranting and raving, record yourself. We got a phone.
Oh,
Record yourself so
oh.
you can hear and see how you look ranting and raving. And think in your mind, would you be listening to yourself?
And so we got the video phone. That's a good point.
That's what I'm saying.
I did that one time. My husband and I, we were in a heated discussion, and I said, I'm turning on the tape recorder, because I was working on some books, and when I work on my books, I record stuff so I can go back. So I put the tape recorder on, and we were just at it. And this went on for like a good 15, 20 minutes. I still got the tape. And I couldn't listen to the whole thing, because about 2 or 3 minutes in it, I said, this is a stupid conversation. You know how crazy you sound?
And that right there would make you stop ranting and raving, because you look and listen to yourself. It's one thing
Insane.
to hear yourself. I mean, look in the mirror and you going back and forth. That's one thing. But to hear yourself doing it, doing it, somebody taped you doing it. You know how ridiculous you start? How you embarrassed about you?
Now,
How? How?
that's bad when you embarrass yourself, and you embarrassed yourself. And I was like,
Right. You embarrassed.
I played it a couple of times, after that. After the first time, I was like, you sound real crazy. You sound
Right,
real, real.
right.
And I went to him and I said, I want you to know I am really sorry for that last episode. Because that's what he called me when I have my outburst. Or she having an episode. Okay, let me go sit down. Okay, let me find something to do. I mean, you need to be listening to me. You need to be He was like, I am listening to you. I'm listening to you. And he never got angry. His voice doesn't go up except when we're in a heated discussion. And that's when he say, that's the last one I'm going to be. And I'm like, okay, it's time to dial this back, time to shut this down.
Yeah.
But when I heard it, I was like, I would have left me.
Yeah.
I would have left me, And I said, okay, why did you keep coming back after you left me? Because he done left me 5 times. And I keep saying, okay, the gist of breaking up, you don't just leave and think you could just supposed to be coming back. Why do you keep coming back? Because they stupid out there. I told you these chicks is stupid. They not going to give you what you want. I know what you want. See, your thing is you looking for a lady. What you need is a woman. You need a grown-ass woman. That's the deal. you know,
Right.
'cause, and a lot of young women are still to this day. Well, not too much now because he like solidly, but a lot of young women when we were in college felt intimidated by him. Well, I know I had a lot to do with that too because they said if he could deal with her, he must be crazy because he don't
Right.
want to come hurt her. You
Right.
don't have somebody like that. Speaking of that, when you're in a relationship, this is what I think. In a relationship, I don't care who, in a personal relationship, there's the
Mhm.
crazy person and the person that takes care of the crazy person. In your relationships, are you the crazy person? Or you
I
the
don't know because both of the people probably was crazy that I was dealing with. Me,
see
them, and the other person.
you can't
Because
be
it was three people in the relation. Well, no, it was four people in the relationship.
what four
No,
people.
really, no, it really was six people.
Wait
It
a
was
minute, you done went from
yeah, it was six people because it was me, myself, and I, and them, those, and others.
and them those.
So yeah, it was them, because they got their own and I got my three. So that's six people in the relationship. They
See,
three and my three don't get along.
hey,
Me don't like I. So
what?
myself don't
Hey,
like me. But me
see,
don't say nothing to I because myself don't like I either. It
so
may be confusing for the people in the back row.
okay,
And
because
I'm
I listen. I see, and it probably is, and this is what's crazy. I totally get that. I totally get that. And that's why there's like that
right,
hidden personality that is deep within us. And see, mine have names. That me, myself, and I. Mine have names. And then when she come up, I'm like, oh Lord, I've learned to control them. Because we're the ones that have control over our mental health state. And if you don't, you really need to see a professional. Talk to somebody if it's not a
right,
mental health, if it's not a therapist, if it's not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, talk to your clergy people. Don't talk to people that don't know what they're talking about. Don't talk about marriage to somebody who's been divorced 3 times. Don't talk about relationships with your girlfriends and they can't even keep a boyfriend. Don't talk
right,
to somebody
right.
about how they raise their kids and you don't have none.
You
Uh-uh.
gonna talk to the cable guy about your TV?
What? That's your job. Fix it.
Right, but he fixed cable. He don't know
But
nothing about your TV. He
right,
don't
he
know
don't
nothing,
know.
but
He
you
know
going
about cable.
right, but you gonna ask him about
About
your
you.
TV.
See, and people gotta stay in their lane, and people don't stay in their lane. And I think a lot of times in relationships, people don't establish what their lane is. I take over all the lanes, and if I'm in your lane, just deal with it. If you come in my lane, oh no, but you can't be in my lane. So I believe that people who want to go into a serious relationship need to sit down and draw ground rules. I'm not saying a contract, but in a way, it's a contract.
Yeah, it
Ground
is.
rules. Where
Yo,
are you drawing
yeah,
a line in the sand? And it's like I'm not moving the line. This is how it's going to be from day one. And let's go with that. They used to tell us when we were growing up and we started dating. Our mother would say, and a lot of her friends would say, you can't raise a grown man.
right,
When you find him like that, you gotta love him like that. Don't get a man say, "Oh, he's broken. I can fix him. Oh, I can help him." You can't raise a grown man, and you make wasting your time and his time trying to figure out how to do that because you can't. All
right.
you can't do what his mama didn't do. That's
But
not.
it goes, yeah, it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
A guy can't save no girl. Don't try to save her.
No,
Don't try to save her. If she ain't, don't try to save her because
don't
you're gonna
trust.
make yourself real mad because you're trying to save her from herself.
From her,
You can't save her from herself. You can't. And if you do get in a real relationship, sit down. Not only just what you just said, because we live in this new technology.
mm-hmm.
Sit down and record yourself saying all the stuff you like and don't like, and see if you argue with yourself.
See, and there are ways and there are solutions and paths that you can take so that you don't have to make a lot of the same mistakes over and over and over again. Women make mistakes because it's not so much that they set the bar so high, it's that they don't understand what setting the bar means. We were in a fast food restaurant, and the girls were and the cashiers, they were talking back and forth about they wanted this kind of man, this, that, and the third. And one was saying, well, I want a man to have a really good job, and the other one saying he got to have a nice car, and I hope he got his own house, woo what the woo. And so I piped up and I said, well, I mean, those are all wonderful qualities. That I said, so what are you going to bring to the table? What do you mean? What am I going to bring to the table? I'm like, you have to have something that he can feed off of. Like you want him to have something that you can feed off of. And if their face didn't go to blank, like, oh,
yeah, because
what?
gravity is our worst enemy. Gravity is our worst enemy.
Truly, it is.
Truly,
It truly is.
it will be the end of every relationship.
See, and when you don't discuss that gravity will take a toll on you, you stay together long
What?
enough. It's gonna happen. It really is gonna happen. Janet Jackson had a poster where she was naked from the top up, and a guy had put his hands around her
Right.
breast, and and I was like, oh, I can do that too. And then one day I was like, I couldn't do that, honey. You got to come help me pick them up. They done fell down. One of them lung fell down farther than the other one did. I don't know what happened. What happened? And I called my mother. She said, oh, baby, that's just gravity.
Right. And if you don't, and everybody done it, and a lot of people ain't going to admit this. A lot of people ain't going to admit this at all. If you never, ever walked in the room and just stared at your mate, not instead of, oh, I love him, and if you never stared at them and been like, why am I here? If you ain't never had that discussion with yourself, period. Yes. I'm not saying it's disrespectful or none of that, but at some point you did stop in the room for a minute, second, whatever, and go and look and be like, why am I here again? Like, and you don't know who you're talking to because you ain't talking to nobody.
No, but you're talking to yourself. You are talking to yourself, and you're sitting there, and it happens. And if you're in a relationship for any time, it's going to happen. And you go, why is he chewing like that?
Oh my God!
Somebody noticed he didn't chew with his mouth closed before. Wait, did he just miss his mouth? Man, don't know where his mouth is. Why he chewing like that? Why is he eating so fast? I didn't even realize how fast my son and my husband ate. And most men eat extremely fast. Y'all just wolf food down. And I'm like, did you eat? And they go, oh, that was really good. I'm like, how did you taste it? You just inhaled it. When did it go past the taste bud?
That's what
sitting there, or they're sitting up on the couch, like just sitting up on the couch and like, why is he getting old before my very eyes? And then I'm going to look at me and go, well, you're getting old before his very eyes. And I'm like, I'm not getting, ask me when did I get old? Go ahead, ask me. Mother, when did you get old?
When did you get old?
Tomorrow. I ain't got time for that crap today.
Right. You
ain't that old thing it's just not working for me. You just be walking down. Why he walking like that? He used to walk like that. He walking slow, And I told you our grandchildren told us there were different degrees of old. That we weren't, we were old, but we're not old. Because we're still involved in life activities. I said, what do you mean? Well, y'all come to the games, y'all travel the world, y'all have friends over, y'all always doing something. I said, well, what's old? Oh, when people don't do nothing, they just sit on my TV. I said, who just does that? Old people.
Right. When you lay in the bed and you picking on how somebody breathing, y'all been together too long. Y'all have been together. It's not that y'all gonna break up. It's just that you start noticing stuff that you don't need to notice. Like, why is he breathing like that? And you counting it. And you counting when he stopped.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite things from my husband. He is like a human electric blanket, and he's not a big snorer. He does snore, but he's not a big snorer. And he sleeps in one spot, and if he turns over, I'm usually turning over with him. And he's a really good. I'm just saying he's the right person for me to sleep with, and I'm the right person for him to sleep with. Because after a while, you get right where you know where your head goes, where your arm goes, and you just fit. It just goes in to fit. And then I was thinking, well, this is fitting just a little too well. What if this don't happen? I don't want to have to go through this with somebody else. And after you get to a certain point, when you're looking at them going, why are they eating like that? Why they sound like that? Why they walking like that? Why they dressing like that? You can't be, and they like, what's wrong? What are you talking about, woman?
Right. You can't, you nitpicking so much. It's not that it's gonna be a deal breaker.
No.
You just start noticing stuff that you like. Why is he smacking like that? Like, why is his eyebrow even making that noise? Like, what noise is that eyebrow making? The eyebrow don't even make no noise. Like, why is
why did I know? Why am I just noticing that he got nose hair?
like,
I mean,
yeah, like I don't
no,
get it. Why is his stomach rumbling?
because
He
he's
ate.
hungry.
We
That means you
ate.
got to
We
get up to go
ate though.
feed. That means you
We
got to go.
ate. We ate. When you start picking like that, they ought to been together. That's good. That's good loving right there because y'all
Right.
been together. But when you ain't been together that long and you start doing that before it's time,
That ain't.
yeah, y'all, that's
That.
not good. Y'all
That.
about to break up tomorrow.
Yeah, when it started being a deal breaker, and you didn't, especially if you didn't set down the rules before you even got in that deep, it's gonna be a problem and an issue. Let me ask, because out here, a lot of people, the famous and the rich and famous and the athletes and what have you,
All
they
right,
meet their mates and they want to get married, and they have a prenuptial agreement.
right.
What are your thoughts on a prenuptial agreement?
I
Would you,
mean,
would you sign one?
not no. I'm gonna honest be like nah, because you know what? Whatever is ours, and what was yours is yours. And if we leaving and we breaking up, that's fine. If it's our stuff, then that's different. But if you feel like you got a petty and you got to take everything like that, go ahead. Because you know what? All that ain't nothing but materialistic.
It
It
ain't
ain't
nothing.
going to be here when I leave.
It ain't.
I ain't going to own it.
It's gonna be stuff.
It's
It,
going to
it,
be
it is.
somebody else's stuff.
Right. And they done got your stuff. And
Right.
we don't look at that. We want to look at all the pretty and all the fun things and everything. I mean, I never thought I would be married. I never thought I would be married, and I certainly did not think I could stay married. My attention span was just way too short. And I was like, that's what my mother used to tell me. She said, girl, I don't worry about you getting pregnant. I said, why you don't worry about me getting pregnant? Because she said, I know your modus operandi. Soon they want to touch on the hem of your skirt. They want to try to pull it up. Soon as they say anything about being intimate, first thing I said, hold that thought. I need you to come and meet my mother. That's why I used to have all my boyfriends meet my family. And I would say 6 out of 10 of them didn't come back. 4 of them did.
Right.
Only one of them lasted. And that's the
Right.
one I got now.
See, I could have been married. It was one thing I couldn't get over when it happened because I was about
What?
to get married. When they was like, "Do you take this person to be your lawful wedded wife?" Don't get me wrong. I ain't mean to say husband. Wife, from sickness, health, and then you're supposed to say I do, and then I had to contemplate and be like, like in my mind I was going,
Do I have
how
to do?
how long is that? Like like
And then when they hit you with until death do
yeah,
you part.
when he said that part, that's the part that made me like, but I might die tomorrow though. So will it be over quick? This is thoughts going through my head while I'm at the altar. Like, yeah, so if she died before me,
See,
and I'm free, that means I ain't really got no. But that was just my thoughts. I'm not
see,
saying that was right or not like that because evidently that wasn't right. That's why I'm not married now. But anyway, that's
I wanted. I didn't even want the pomp and circumstance. He wanted the pomp and circumstance. He wanted a June bride. He wanted a big wedding. He wanted the reception. He wanted his friends and family to come in and fly in and celebrate his big day and what have you. And we were all into that and it was wonderful and we went through the whole thing, everything, and so it's time for me to walk down the aisle. And I'm walking down the aisle on my uncle's arm. And my father was gone and my brother's no. So my uncle, he was the right one. So I'm walking down the aisle with my uncle. And they start with the dun, 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 dun. I was like, what have I done? Why am I doing this? Why all my friends said God is in here? We had a church wedding. And I was like, I can't be lying in front of God. I don't know if I could do this. And I was like, trying to keep my smile up. And my face was all chewed up.
right.
And I was like, I don't know if I could do this. I mean, we were one. I don't know if I could do this. And I'm going, well, we've been together for 13 years. Why would it make any difference? So I'm talking this through my head. What got me out of my head was the minister could not remember my name. He said, well, Miss and everybody in the church could hear him. So I don't have a really good whispering voice. I do now, but not then. And I said my name. He said, "Oh yeah." Well, then he goes, "Oh yeah, I got." But do you? Well, before I even get to you. Y'all have spent all this money on this wedding. You got a son big as me. I don't know what you sitting up here with in a white wedding dress and a white runner. That's for virgin.
Dang.
You ain't no run in the church in front
Wow.
of everybody. I was like, Pastor, can you just get to the part so I can say I do? And I'm telling you now, I said I will. And then they said, anybody got anything to say? I turned around and said, y'all better not open up your mouth and say nothing. I turned back around. I said, I do. That's it. I kissed my husband. We walked down the aisle where I was stomping down the aisle, going back. And they went, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. And I'm like, yeah. I was so pissed off at the preacher. He wasn't our regular pastor.
Oh yeah, I would be too.
I was like, I just will be. And then it rained on our wedding day.
Oh
And
yeah,
they said when it rains, that's good luck if it rains on your wedding day. That we would
Oh,
be.
oh,
That's what they
okay.
said. Well, we
But
still yes.
right. When
It's been
I
a
get
whole lot of long time. But I honestly did not believe that I would stay married and be married. And I could not do this with any other person on the planet but this guy. And I always said, he always killing me off first, telling me I'm gonna take you out in a pine box and send you in the backyard and spend all that money. Because I wanted to travel, I want a traveling funeral. I want to have one here in California, one Columbus, one Cleveland. Of course, gotta have one in DC. We got people there, because everybody can't come to your wedding at the same time. So, your funeral.
Man, you better put it on videotape.
And this is the killing. I don't want to be dead. I just want to see who's gonna show up.
You might as well put it on videotape so everybody can chime in and you make
everybody.
We
can do that now. I don't have to have a traveling video. We don't have
right. You can just put it on.
We can do it like a Zoom call.
Yeah, you can do that and make everybody sign in so you'll know who came. Everybody with the code. You got to have a code to come into the funeral.
Wait,
and then you'll
you got to get a link for. we are not making this better.
Right.
But see, think about that though. Think about that. Because people have had, I went to one of my friends' funerals out here, and this is during the pandemic, and they had it on video. You had to have a code, a link, or whatever it was, and I could watch the film. And I was like, it was awful to me. I mean, I wanted to be there, but they only let their they only let a few family members come. So I understood that because we were in the middle of a pandemic.
Right. That's what I said. If I do get married, in case anybody out there want to just marry me off the
window. So you said you're free and disengaged?
I'm successfully undisengaged. If anybody, if I get married, I don't want that wedding march. You know what I want to play?
What you want?
I want to play It's Over. Like this is it. This is it. We ain't getting divorced.
Make no mistake.
We ain't getting no divorce. It's gonna be death all the way till we do part.
That's it.
That's it. It ain't gonna be no last call for alcohol. This is it. I'm gonna make sure that they say that last call for alcohol. This is it. He ain't gonna never come out again. Y'all ain't gonna never see him again. Not married.
See, that's a misnomer. People think once they get married, they disappear from the social life.
And I'm gonna have to.
And then this is another thing to get me. People that, you've been together for a long time, say 25 years. And I saw this happen to this lady that I knew. She and her husband had been married for 25 years. They had 2 kids. They were doing really well. They had a son and a daughter. The son got married first, and they got their first grandchild. Well, when the daughter got married, and she was pregnant with her first child, he decided he wanted to get a divorce. Well, I take that back. She decided it was time for a divorce because she found out he was fooling around with one of the members in the church. Okay. And I don't think he was a senior pastor, but he was a pastor. He was Reverend somebody, something. And he had an outside baby. So she divorced him after 25 years. Now, they done built up these relationships. They got the same friend. Who gets the friends in the relationship? Do the friends that are friends with the wife, do they stay with the wife and they abandon the husband who's become their friend, and vice versa? Who gets the friends in a divorce? Or do you just cut them both off?
I mean, you just cut them both off. I mean, because evidently some of y'all I didn't really like. We was only friends because I was married. That was it. We never really liked each other. And at this point, I really don't care. I'm gonna see you in passing and be like, hey, what's happening? What's going on?
That's
We
it.
ain't gonna have no real. Remember what happened when we? Nah, I don't know,
See,
man. Yeah.
and that's what I, and I felt bad about it for them, because we were giving up. We were going to have to sever relationships with both of them, because it wasn't going to be. I didn't think it was going to be fair to either one of them, and I wasn't going to take sides. Because I remember she had asked me would I come and testify to something. That would I tell the court that I saw something that I didn't see? And I was like, no, I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
doing that.
nah, yeah, that
I
nah,
mean, I
yeah.
love you, but I don't love you like
That's
that.
a deal, bro. That's a
Mm-mm,
deal breaker, right?
yeah,
Especially y'all broke up 25 years, and now I gotta pick.
mm-mm,
I gotta
yeah,
go and tell on what
mm-mm.
you think. Oh
No,
nah, nah. Matter of
and I
fact,
told, I said,
I'm leaving both of y'all alone. Yeah.
I said, perjury is against the law. She said, well, I don't think it's against the law in divorce court. I said, well, no, I'm just not gonna do
Yeah, I'm not
it.
that. Yeah, that's crossing the line right there. You
Way
asking
crossing the
me.
line.
You
Crossing the
asking.
line is your male friend coming over to your house, asking you to lie to his wife and tell his wife that he was at your house over the weekend when he's spending the weekend with some other woman. And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
no. And they
Let,
said,
let,
well, I thought you were my friend. I said, I am your friend, but I ain't getting ready to lie to your wife for you.
let me ask you this, because this is serious. This is serious, and I just want to see what your answer is. Ooh, y'all. 25 years you broke up, right? Right. Somebody want to get with you, and y'all was friends with the whole for the 25 years.
Mm-mm. No. Would I get involved with him?
Yeah.
No. Wouldn't do it. I would not do it. That's one of our deal breakers. You don't get to screw one of my friends. I don't get to screw none of yours. Well, I wouldn't. I mean, your friends is like your friends. That would be like having sex with my brother. That. No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Because I know people that do
People,
that.
people do it and they live to regret. Some of them live to regret it.
Some of them
Some of
do,
them
but
do,
some of
and some of them say, "Well, I just wanted to see what he was like because he was all hot after me." And then when I did, I was like, "Oh no, moving on."
But I
would
know some
that.
people that did it. I
Mhm.
know some people that did it, and they still together to this day. Like it worked out
Right,
for that couple.
or it worked out. One of my friends was cheating on one of her friends, and she was cheating on her friend with her husband. So she
Oh yeah.
became friends with her husband, and
Okay.
she was friends with the husband and the wife, and she and the husband got close. And I was like, "But you knew she was married. Why would that's your friend? What kind of friend are you that you would go behind her back and you would fool around with her
Yeah,
husband?
that's
And
different.
and
Yeah.
he's lying to her, and you're lying to her. So both of y'all lying to somebody that y'all claim y'all love." And I told her, I said, "You know what? I'm not even getting involved in that. I mean, we must have had a good 5-6 year hiatus from each other. And in that 5 or 6 year time, some kind of way, I was someplace and I ran into the guy's wife. And she was saying, did you know? She stopped me and she was like, well, how you doing, so and so? Did you know that your friend was fooling around with my husband? And I was like, my name is Bess. I am not in that mess. I don't have anything to do with that. That's for you and she to talk about it, or whatever the case is to talk about. She said, well, it's nothing really to talk about because my husband and I, we back together and they've been together ever since.
Oh,
Ever since.
the wait a minute. The husband that.
His wife got back together. They reconciled.
Oh, okay.
And
I
then
mean,
both of them cut her off.
right. And if it work out, and you could get over that, you the best couple in the world. For
And
real.
that's what I said.
You the best. You should be a role model for let's stay together after we
Yes,
done
I
broke
mean,
up and got back together.
and I don't know. If you found out that your wife was cheating, would you want to stay with her?
That's it. Just
That's a
depend
hard
on
question.
yeah. Because you think
You
about it,
don't know,
how long was y'all together, and not even how long was you together. Where was the love at?
right? How solid is that?
Yeah, because you can be solid. I mean, it don't because people. This is where people get it kind of messed up. Love don't have to do nothing with a long, long time. It don't have nothing to
No.
do with that. It's like it could be in a shorter time, and y'all just love each other.
And it
And
could be intense.
Right.
And the intensity, I won't say the intensity of love doesn't wear off. Because once you've been with somebody for a long time, you really get into a rhythm, and sometimes your rhythm changes. We
Right.
grow
Right.
up, we grow
Right.
apart, we grow back together. Is this growth enough to split us up? Is it enough to keep us together? Can we continue to just get on the same page? And in some relationships, they won't get on the same page. They're just
No.
like, okay, this is just too much. I can't handle it. I don't want to see my family split up, but I'm just not going to deal with this with you. See, that for me, that's a
Right.
deal breaker.
Right.
That
Yeah,
is
like
a deal breaker.
your eyebrow is too loud, and I've been dealing with this for like
See,
15
when it get
years.
like that, I just go get the straight razor and get the
Right,
two-leaf
right,
razor and just cut it
right.
off.
Oh, now you trying to kill me? Now
No,
you trying to kill me because you got to come at me with the razor. You're not logically gonna tell me you about to shave my eyebrows because my eyebrows are too loud. You're not gonna tell. You got a straight razor.
you know who
Hello,
who
hello.
got loud eyebrows. When you said that, I'm like, what's a loud eyebrow?
Who got
Anthony Davis for the Los Angeles Lakers. He
what?
got real loud eyebrows. He got a real loud
I
eyebrow.
mean, do they make noise though?
They do. Sometimes they do. And if you go
What?
across them, they got gray in them. They really make like that scruffy sound, like when you
What?
shave your head
What?
and you
Oh
go
my
across
god.
the scruffy, it'll sound like that. Nose hair sound like that. And you gotta love them enough to like get them a little
I'm
kit.
not. I'm not.
You
I'm
see, you
not.
gotta give them a little kit. You gotta get
A
a
kid for what?
listen to get the nose hair and the hair out your ears, and and get the unibrow together. Men need. I'm so
But
blessed
what
to
happened if
love
it?
them. It's
But happened if it's the wife though?
what women with facial hair that's not your eyebrows and your
No, I'm just
eyelashes.
talking about her eyebrows thick.
That's a down south thing. Seriously, because men down
What?
south, they want their women. They don't care if their women's legs are hairy. They don't care if they got a mustache thick as theirs. They don't care if they got a beard. One guy said, "I like my wife with her goatee." I
Yeah,
said,
but I ain't gonna say it's just down south because I heard three people at the back start booing you. Like, what that got to do with down south? That ain't got nothing to do with us.
"No,
What you talking about?
I've seen it. I've seen people down south, and they pretty hairy. They really hairy, and they don't care about their women. They said, I think it's sexy. One chick I met, and she had hair on her chest. She had
No,
it was like a little V on
I
her
don't
chest that
know.
went down into her
I can't.
cleavage.
No, I see.
And I was like,
Yeah,
you
that's a
can't
deal.
you can't
No,
shave that off.
that's
They got hair going around their nipple or something. I'm like, y'all need that ain't.
that's a deal breaker. If you got, I don't want to feel like I'm laying in the bed with my little
We
brother.
have just taken this
I'm just saying,
conversation
I don't want to
to
lay in the
body.
bed with my little brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I, like, don't get me wrong. If you a hairy faced woman, that's fine. That's good for somebody that likes it. I don't want a woman with a beard and we both in the mirror trimming. Like that is not sexy to me. Like, hey, I think you missed the spot. Hold on, you ain't got yours
See,
lined
that's why
up.
you go in the
Like,
bathroom
nah.
and you have your own razor, and he has his own razor. And men,
But we
men
can't
say,
be side to side.
no, I want them separate. I want them separate. And it always seems like his razor is sharper than mine. And he goes, because my hair is thicker than yours.
Right,
You do
right.
not need to use my razor to be cutting the hair off your chin.
Yeah,
And
because
I was like,
because if you
that's
do that, it's
yeah,
over.
and I cut my chin. I learned the hard
Yeah,
way.
you go. Not only do you cut your chin, but now you got a whole Rick Ross. You got a
See,
whole beard on your face because you use my razor. You
see,
know what
and
I'm
it go.
saying?
I was like, I didn't know women's hair on their face grew that fast. We have just now. That just so you know, me and Cool TLC are real. We will be back here with you on next Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Just remember this. What's your parting words first, Mr. Cool?
Oh, okay. Remember this. Do something that's constructive only for you until you figure out somebody else needs to be constructed.
Okay, and I want you to remember this from me. No matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, it matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then. We love you. Stay safe. Be well. And like you said, do something constructive.